Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news. This is Bloomberg Businessweek Daily, reporting from the magazine that helps global leaders stay ahead, with insight on the people, companies, and trends shaping today's complex economy, plus global business, finance, and tech news as it happens. The Bloomberg Businessweek Daily podcast with Carol Massar and Tim Stenovec on Bloomberg Radio.
David Gura, Emily Grafeo in for Carol Massar and Tim Stenovec. And following all the economic data, looking ahead to Jobs Day on Friday, we'll get another read on the health of the U.S. labor market. I want to check in with someone who's navigating the uncertainty of this moment as a business leader. David Booth is the president and CEO of Tillamook. That is shorthand for the Tillamook County Creamery Association, farmer-owned co-op that's been around since 1909. I know of their cheese and their ice cream. He joins us now from Decatur, Illinois, where they've just opened up a new factory. And that's where I want to start, if I could here, David. Great to speak with you. We're at a moment where we're hearing a lot of business leaders say, we're going to hold off on new investment, hold off on CapEx, want to see where things stand. You had a project underway. You're opening it up today. How are you feeling just about the health of this economy right now and business generally?
Overall, I'm feeling very, very good. The food sector, the brand itself is performing extremely well. We've been on a national expansion for the last 4 or 5 years, and it's going really well. And this investment really helps to support that long-term vision that we have.
What about the labor market? Because we are going to be looking at jobs data on Friday here at Bloomberg News. From your view, are you planning on increasing hiring? Are you keeping everything the same? How does labor look for your company?
Yeah, that's a great question. Obviously, here in Decatur, we're bringing in about 70 new jobs into the community. We've had really nice reception from the local population, and we filled nearly 50 of the 70 jobs up to this point. And as the capacity continues to expand, we'll fill the rest of those roles. And for the rest of the organization, both of our other manufacturing facilities are 95 to 98% fill rate right now from an employment standpoint. And the job market looks pretty good for us.
I'm curious about just the way that the company is structured. I know that you're a B Corp. How big is it? You mentioned you have a national footprint. I think 80% of the country can get Tillamook products. So how is it structured, and what's your sense of how you'd like to grow it or where you'd like to go that you aren't right now?
Yes, you're right. You're dead on the number. So we're in 80% of grocery stores across the country, and we'll do about $1.4 billion in revenue this year. And to put that in perspective, when we went on this national expansion back in 2015, we were about $450 million. So we've nearly tripled the size of the business over the last decade. And we've done that really by pushing distribution and partnering with key retailers. But more importantly, the quality of the product we bring to market. Once we get the product in people's mouths and they try it, our repeat rate is nearly 60%. So that's the magic in this brand, is the quality that we bring to the market.
How is your supply chain looking right now? I guess we can start with ice cream and then maybe go to cheese. I don't know if
it's your preference. It's your order of preference. Let's start with that.
Yeah. Well, this factory, I guess, it's an ice cream plant, or is it ice cream and cheese in the plant?
That's a great question. So this is our first manufacturing facility outside of the state of Oregon. So we have 2 cheese production facilities in Oregon. One of those also makes ice cream. But this is our first facility outside of the state of Oregon, and our first facility dedicated solely to the production of ice cream. So it's a 60,000 square foot facility that'll make 15.5 million gallons of ice cream when fully at capacity.
I'm just thinking of the supply chain for ice cream. I mean, I don't know. We talk a lot about tariffs a lot, but this seems like a very domestic business where you're sourcing your ingredients domestically. Have you run into any recent issues over the last couple months when it comes to just getting everything you need to build?
Yeah, and obviously tariffs are in everybody's mind, and we'll wait to see how everything settles out. But at this point, given that milk is our number one ingredient, and it comes domestically from many of our own members and our owners, as well as some partner farms that we have, we feel fairly isolated right now.
I'm very curious to sort of, we were talking a little bit about expansion before. Are there any hindrances to that going forward? So you've obviously built and opened this new factory, but is there anything that's kind of giving you pause at this moment of time? It doesn't have to do with your business itself, but with the economy more broadly. I'm just kind of curious of how you're thinking about the economy and the future of the economy.
Well, what we've seen when we've seen economy downturns is less people eating out and more people eating at home. So quite honestly, for Tillamook, we have a substantial retail business, and our food service business isn't quite as large, it's a little bit underdeveloped. So it actually plays to a benefit for Tillamook right now. And we also see that households are willing to spend a little bit of a premium for that higher quality to feed their family at home. So it could play to our advantage quite nicely.
Is ice cream a seasonal trend? Do you anticipate that sales will pick up in the summer just because it's hotter outside? Or if consumers are pulling back, will that also hit, even these affordable luxuries like ice cream?
Well, it is definitely a seasonal item. We definitely see that kind of that Memorial Day till Labor Day spike in the business. What I can tell you is the early read into this season is it's been very strong. The purchases from customers have been great. Early reads on takeaway through the first few months of the year. Continue to see this brand and this ice cream business continue to expand at nearly double digits. So I would say at this point, it's continuous business as usual.
Could you talk a bit about the relationship that the company has with the farmers who are producing the milk, the dairy products that you use? Is that very much a national footprint as well? Are they kind of confined to the Pacific Northwest, where I know you're headquartered? What does it look like, and how much has it grown in recent years?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the co-op is made up of 55 farmer members, all based in Oregon and primarily on the coast of Oregon. They supply 100% of the milk into our Tillamook cheese manufacturing facility. So over the last decade, while the number of members may have declined, the amount of milk continues to remain relatively constant into that facility. Then we have a secondary facility in Eastern Oregon that we partner with a large farm out in Eastern Oregon who supplies the milk to that facility. And then for this one, we've partnered with Foremost Farms and a couple of key farms that meet all of our milk quality standards to supply the milk here. So we have partners outside, but we also have a large portion of our milk that comes from our members.
David, it was great to catch up with you. Congrats on the new factory as well. That's David Booth. He's the president and the CEO of Tillamook, shorthand for the Tillamook County Creamery Association, based out in the Pacific Northwest in Oregon. It's a farmer-owned cooperative that's been around since 1909. That new facility manufacturing ice cream to the tune of 15 million gallons. I'm still trying to get my head around that.
Yeah. They said that their product is in 1 in 4 U.S. households. Do you have any in your house?
I may have some cheese in the cheese drawer, but I will. Now, as you bring up the seasonality, it's time.
It's time to go
replenish the stores.
Go buy some ice cream. It's cheaper than going out and buying ice cream. Like if you get a big tub in bulk.
The half gallon or the gallon.